Welcome. It's Scott Picken. I'm standing here at Atlanta International Airport. I'm actually in the business class lounge on my way up to JFK, to New York. Now, I get asked all the time, why would I want to come on a buyer's trip? You know, at the end of the day, why would I want to get on a trip and go with other people? Or why would I want to take the time and the effort to get on a plane and fly over there and be a week away from my family or my business? Well, the question I've got for you is, how can you afford not to? What is the risk of making mistakes? As Clem Sunter says, you've got to have plans for every scenario. You know, there are a lot of things that are happening in South Africa at the moment. You've got them talking about taking 50% of the farms. You've got them talking about taking away houses. You've got Malema telling Richard Branson that he's going to take away his farm. Now, it can all be hogwash and it can all be the press, but the bottom line is the world is aware of it. It's the reason our foreign direct investment is so deeply down. We have the privilege of dealing with some of the most highly sophisticated investors in South Africa, the most high net worth people in South Africa. And I can tell you that people with wealth are concerned about their wealth. They are concerned about wealth preservation. According to our Global Wealth Index, you've heard it so many times before, but we've lost 29.5% year on year for the last 30 years. This is not something to bury your head in the sand about. And therefore, if you want a solution, if you want wealth preservation, if you want a plan B, and most importantly, if you want peace of mind for you and your family, then you've got to do something. You've got to take action. And like Dr. Dolph DeRoos says, there are three types of people in the world. There are people that do something, there are people that watch what happens, and there's people that wonder what has actually happened. And as things are changing, as things are adapting, what are you going to do? So the question is, why come on a buyer's trip? Well, I've just been on a 16-hour flight from Johannesburg to Atlanta, and my question is, how can you afford not to be here? I've literally just picked up the four major newspapers. So you've got the Wall Street Journal, I've got the USA Today, I've got the New York Times, and I've got the Atlanta Journal for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now, I just wanted to share with you, we always say to people there's 5 reasons to come on a buyer's trip. The first one is to get the right information. You know, at home, you're sitting there, your mates, your buddy, your son, your daughter, your sister, your estate agent, the internet, Trulia, is giving you lots of advice. But when you come on a buyer's trip, you get on the ground, you get the real facts. Not from me, not from anyone else, from yourself. Although we do teach you, having done this for many, many years, over 10 years of buyer's trips. This is our 8th buyer's trip to America. And every single time we do it, we get better. I mean, when you go watch the Springboks, do you like to watch them on their very first game of the season when they're rusty and they've just come together? Or do you like to watch them at, once they're in their full flow and everything's running smoothly? Well, that's where our buyer's trips are now. When you've done 8 in a row, it's the Kaizen principle. They just get better and better and better. And the beauty with July is that it's the best time of the year in America. It's the middle of summer. But let's look at number 1 in terms of the information. So this is literally today's newspaper here, and you can see here the Atlanta Journal, and it says, rise in house prices beats other regions. The house price is heading for a solid column. Metro Atlanta market unbalanced as would-be sellers stay on the sidelines. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't have all the facts and figures yet. I've just arrived. I'm about to jump on a plane to New York, but I tell you what, I'll be taking that newspaper with me and reading it. What about this? Okay, this is very, very interesting. So this is the New York Times, one of the most respected newspapers on the planet. And if you go into the New York Times and you go through to was it the business day? I think it was the business day. And if I go into the business day here, I found a very good article somewhere. Just give me 2 seconds. Where's it going? So it talks all about the market coming back in New York. And what am I looking for here specifically? No, that's not it. Where has the business day gone? No, there. House price is still rising, but more slowly. So another article in the business day. In the New York Times. What about USA Today? It's not necessarily one of the most respected business newspapers, but it's very widely read across America. I thought you'd be interested to know that if you go to Money, it talks about housing confidence and the rebound. It talks about the numbers. It talks about the new sales. It talks about the top areas according to the Case-Shiller Index. It talks about more Americans planning to buy a home. You see, the people that came on the buyer's trips, the last buyer's trips, they got this information. They could take educated and informed decisions. They could rely on their gut because they had real information, real tangible information that they could act upon. What about the Wall Street Journal? I find this absolutely fascinating. We've been telling people about North Dakota and the fact that America is going to be a net exporter. And look at this. I picked up the Wall Street Journal today. US set to export its first oil since the 1970s. Don't you find that absolutely fascinating? I mean, literally in the Wall Street Journal today. Now, we were actually told that it was 2021, and now it's going to happen this year. Look at this, fracked oil. Now, this is very interesting here. If you look at this thing here, you can actually see, if I come a little bit closer here, where all the major oil is. Now, you might notice the Picken, North Dakota. No one in America knows about this. No one in North America really knows about this. But Henny Besaidner, John Chin, Scott Picken, Brendan Brown, Jaco Moritz, we're all there. That's where we're investing. That's where we're doing our industrial factory lets. Because it's got some of the best oil in America. And ironically, this entire article is actually talking about it. So what else was in here? I thought you might be interested to know that it talks about real estate rise. It's actually calling for an inspection because the REITs are going up too much, which is not necessarily a good thing in terms of where they actually are. What about this? There was a really good one here. Where's it gone now? In terms of global finance, potential worries for mortgage investors, sideline shares, stocks deepen in Dubai, sinking yields in Asia. There we are. The apartment market rolls on. So, we've looked very aggressively at the apartments, which areas to invest in. Wouldn't you like all the facts and figures? Literally, from the horse's mouth, just this morning. I mean, I haven't planned this. I've literally been here 3 minutes. Or, sorry, about half an hour. I couldn't, literally hold off on America's house party. It talks about what's happening with the housing market and where it's going, and whether it's going up or down. For me, I don't think you could get a better illustration of point number one when it comes to information. Because people out there all have opinions. But at the end of the day, by the time I'm finished just reading those newspapers, I will have far better information than anyone in South Africa put together. And that's why we come here literally every 6 weeks to 3 months. I'm about to go to New York and present and be part of one of the biggest real estate events in New York, learning and presenting with some of the best in America. Do you think we're going to get the right information there? If you on this buyer's trip, you could be getting that information as well. You could be learning with us. You could be learning how we got such amazing results in 2013. Our returns, I won't even tell you because you'll probably think that it's rubbish. But if you really want to come and speak to us, come and learn from us. Speak to our clients that invested with us, and they will verify it. The second part is meeting the partners. I just spoke to RJ this morning. I'm going to change my flight so that I can meet up with him on Sunday. He's currently looking at properties now in preparation for the auction on the first Tuesday next week. Do you think he's going to know what's happening? You come over here, you meet all his partners, the people that find the property, renovate the property, do the management, the inspection agents, the lawyers, the accountants, the trust people. In 1 week, you'll get more information and more learning than any book, any course, and no matter how sophisticated you are, we will blow your mind away in terms of what is actually happening. You'll get to meet and experience some of the most sophisticated South Africans and other investors. And that's the thing I love most, is interacting with those people and asking the questions and really evolving. I mean, my growth in my property sophistication has gone through the roof in the last couple of years, in the last 5 years or so, when I've had the privilege of going on these buyers trips with people like Henny Besaidner, a billionaire out of South Africa that's listed 2 companies, one in South Africa, one in Australia. Do you think that I could learn a bit from him? But it's not just him. I mean, we had a guy on the last buyers trip, Alan. Alan is investing $2 million himself personally in this deal in North Dakota. The medical deal actually, that he was over here now on the last trip. He spent time with myself and Alan and Henny and John Chin and our partners here, Bruce and Paul and everyone else, asked all the right questions. Those are the type of caliber, the people that you'll be dealing with. You can take action. There's nothing more frustrating than flying all the way overseas, trying to come up with a strategy, wealth preservation, plan B, peace of mind, and then not having tangible stuff on the ground. Alan was so nervous about doing it. He's done it for years and years and years. He lost money in London, and I gave him my word that we would make sure that we had things on the ground that were available for him, and that is what we've done, and now we're closing on a $15 million transaction with him as one of the primary investors. And then lastly, you get to have a lot of fun. I mean, I've been on a plane for 16 hours. I might look tired at 6:30 in the morning. So, American time, it's about, 12:30 South African time. I've actually worked for 13 hours on the plane, putting our PPMs together for Wealth Migrate. But I'm super excited. I'm going to New York, and trust me, baby, New York's a lot of fun. We've got some great things lined up. Atlanta's a great place to have a lot of fun. America's a great tourist spot. You can't come here and work hard and not have fun. So, in a nutshell, this is going to be one of the best buyers trips ever. In fact, in my opinion, it will be the best buyers trip ever because our whole process is Kaizen, and it's just getting better and better and better. And really, when one looks at all these types of newspapers, I come back to the question. You can sit at home, you can worry, you can have your concerns, you can read about Malema, you can read his book, you can wonder what to do, you can look at Clem Santa and the scenario, you can worry about the platinum, you can worry about the rand, you can worry about the future of your children. Or you can just focus on the future. You can focus on solutions. You can find the right partners. You can get the right information, and you can take action. And that's why you should come on the buyer's trip, so that you'll have the ability to come and take action, have a solution. And just like all our other investors, you will then have peace of mind. And I can promise you, from someone who owns first world assets and a first world income, but yet has the privilege of living in South Africa, it's the greatest freedom that you can ever have. I dare you to try it. Cheers.